Hey everyone, here we are. We're ready to start our research unit. Now, in elementary school, you guys did a lot of research and y'all did many research lessons throughout third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. I think y'all probably even did them in kindergarten. But what we're going to do today and for the next 6 months is we're going to be working on a research unit that takes you start to finish through our research process. So why research? Well, first off, research is creating new knowledge. You guys are in middle school. This is a really new thing for you guys, but we want to start building your interest level and we want to start building this new knowledge. So that is what we're going to be doing. Now, to start off, what I want to do is I want to talk to you guys about FISD's research process. A lot of times, you guys have a step 1, a step 2, a step 3. We don't do that with our research because you will at times need to go to backtrack, or you need to go maybe skip a step and then come back to that step. So what we've done is we've created this visual of gears. You'll notice all the gears are touching in some form or fashion. You can get from choose, you can go to choose to plan, into reflect. If you want to go to use, you can go straight to there. But the idea is that this is an ever-evolving process. There's no step 1, step 2, but there is things that need to get done. I am going to go through it in a certain way and talk about what we're going to be doing, but that's kind of what we're doing today. So let's start with choose. First off, the choose category is choosing your topic. Now, I do know in the past you've been given a, like, let's do an animal, and then you get to pick an animal from there. For this project, you get to research anything you want to research. We want you guys to have a passion for what you're researching. Now, one thing I do suggest is that I do not think it would be a good idea for you to do something you know a lot about. If you know a lot about the Dallas Cowboys, if you can give me their stats and their ratings and all of that, and you know the players, that might be something, it might be boring to work with that for 6 months. Maybe let's move on to a new topic, and we're going to be doing that soon, where you guys are going to start brainstorming new topics for you guys to do, or generating possibilities, as you guys can see in this gear. The next one is the plan category. This is where you kind of start focusing your topic. If I'm going to do World War II, World War II is this huge, massive topic. This is where I might start narrowing it or writing my questions. Now, in the past, you guys have been given questions to answer about your topic. That will not be happening here because this is your project. You will be writing your own questions. That will actually be with guidance from your teacher and your librarian, but you will actually be working with that, and you're going to kind of plan how you're going to do that and what you're going to do. So that's where this is going to happen. And we're even going to connect it to ILA, and we're going to do level 1, level 2, and level 3 questions, but everything will be guided by you. Now, the next part that you're going to do is, now that you've written your questions, you are going to start answering your questions. Now, with this, you will be working with databases, you'll be working with Google, you'll be working with books. You might even be working with people who were in that situation. If you do something about maybe the pandemic, maybe you talk to a doctor. Maybe with COVID-19, I don't know if you want to research that, it might be a little too soon, but you might talk to a doctor who was in the middle of that. But that's kind of an idea that we're going to start searching out the answers to our questions. Now, I want to kind of guide you. We're going to stop going through the orange ones real quick, and we're going to move over to reflect, because I want you to understand something. Reflection happens at all parts of your research. You are always trying to get input from possibly your teacher or your classmates or parents. You're always revising and editing. I have students who will change questions because they'll see that their questions aren't quite what they're not interested in, and they'll change their questions halfway through. And always, always you're improving your process. So this blue gear, you can look at it any point in time. I want to make sure you saw that, and that if you need to go back to your plan gear or go back to your choose gear, you can through this gear. So that's why it's not a step 1, step 2, step 3 process. Now, our next one is going to be use. Now that you have answered your questions, sometimes you're going to need to refocus your research questions, maybe add more questions to it. You're also going to need to find new sources. If maybe you're realizing that your question hasn't been answered well, or let's say you get 2 different answers from 2 of your sources, that maybe you need to do a 3rd source. But this is kind of like, okay, now that you've written your questions, you've answered your questions, how am I going to use these questions? This is also where you're going to make sure and create that citation for, make sure everything is cited for your topic. So that's what this looks like. And so you will be working with this in preparations for our next gear, which is the create gear. This is where you're going to create your final project. Now, guys, we are going to be working with a Google page on this. This is where that Google page information will come in. You will have already been creating a Google page to the whole thing, but you will be finalizing that website, which is what's great. So we will be creating that Google site. It'll be great. It'll have everything on it. Every part of this will go on that, but you will finalize it here. This is also where you turn in your citation page. Now, at the bottom of this page, you'll notice that it has like 3 things. Once you're done with that, create. We want to make sure you publish it, present it, and share it with others, because that is the process of creating research. The idea is to create that new knowledge, and so now you're going to get to share your new knowledge and create new knowledge for someone else.